Hi, everybody. We're back today with another episode of Howie's Hometown Heroes, where we feature business owners, entrepreneurs, and community members who are doing extraordinary, amazing, so busy they're over the top, like Samantha, people in their community. So today we're in, where are you?
New Haven, Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut. Okay, so today we're in New Haven, Connecticut, where Yale is. So I have a bit of a connection with Yale. And with Samantha Williams, 628 Digital Design. Now, I think I'm pretty busy doing a lot of stuff. I mean, right, and all of us are pretty busy. You'll think you're a slouch compared to Samantha. So first of all, here's a couple of things. She's had her name, picture, logo, all kinds of stuff on 2 billboards in Times Square, not just 1, 2 within a couple of months. She's won the Minority Business of the Year in New Haven or in the surrounding area, right? With a federal contract. How long has 628 Digital Design been around?
We have 628 has been around. February will be 3 years.
3 years.
But we started through Sam's Word, which we're celebrating our 8th anniversary next month.
Okay, so been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Not like 50 years, a couple of years.
We're still under 10 years.
Not even 10 years. So what federal contract? She's got her son, a 10-year-old. He's an entrepreneur. Where do you think he gets that stuff from, right? And the thing that she's really also proud of is the CMWP Foundation. I'll let her describe that because it's a tongue twister for me. And so thanks for being here, Samantha. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, so this will be a lot of fun. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, let's get the tongue twister out of the way. What's the CMWP Foundation and what does that all mean?
So the CMWP Foundation is what I'm doing in tandem with 628 all day long. I go back and forth between the two. I am the president and founder of CMWP Foundation. We started back in 2018 as the collaboration of minority women professionals. And we started as a networking organization to empower Black and minority women in corporate or entrepreneurship. So back then, this before COVID, we started with Lunch and Learns. We had monthly Lunch and Learns. It's a membership-based organization. So the ladies pay into the membership. And we were meeting monthly. With COVID, we were forced to go virtual. So we moved to webinars and things like that. And that also helped us expand our reach. So before COVID, we had less than 10 members. Now we are well over 100 members. We have had members even outside of the country. Most of our members are based here in the Northeast, but we do have members all over the country. But from working with the ladies through the collaboration, we really started to understand the needs in the community. And that inspired us to start our nonprofit, CMWP Foundation, Inc. So CMWP Foundation is an entrepreneurial support organization empowering Black and minority men, women, and children entrepreneurs. Because like you were mentioning, I have a childpreneur I'm raising, right? My leaders, Letitia and Randy over at CMWP, also have children, and their children also have businesses. So while we're pouring into our community, we're very mindful of the next generation and making sure that they receive the information they need also. So CMWP Foundation, we have been awarded several contracts throughout the state of Connecticut to provide entrepreneurial support services. So we do holistic entrepreneurial wellness, business coaching, networking meetups, and business workshops. And we also have a focus on Black moms and childpreneurs. So a lot of our events that we do, we provide childcare. We have our annual holiday luncheon coming up, and we will have childcare available there. We host an annual entry-level golf tournament and encouraging Black and minority women to get out on the green. The name of our golf tournament is called Queens of the Green.
Ooh.
And we provide childcare. I've never seen another golf tournament provide childcare.
Absolutely.
So we're really looking to eliminate those barriers to allow moms and caregivers to participate in some of the resources available. So that was a lot, but that's CMWP.
I mean, that's a full-time job right there, trying to put that together.
It is.
we'll see how many full-time jobs you actually have. So tell us, let's go back a little bit then. So what was the story behind 628 Digital Design? What was that epiphany moment that said, okay, this is the thing I'm doing?
So 628 was born out of my first company, Sam's Word. I started Sam's Word in December of 2015. And so I'm a writer by trade. And so I was always had a side hustle of writing. I was doing resumes, college papers, editing, writing, all kinds of things in the writing field. And then I always tell people I was doing the corporate side hustle shuffle. So while working in corporate, I was still doing this on the side, and I would go back and forth between the work computer and the hustle computer, and it was a whole setup. And so in 2015 is when I started Sam's Word. I kept doing that through the years. And then I hire Black women for my team. So I always say I have a commitment to economic inclusivity. And what that means is I intentionally financially support Black women creatives in my industry. And so the women who were on my team, I was hiring them to help offload some of the writing projects. Yeah. But then all of a sudden I realized we were building websites, creating logos, managing social media. And I was like, this doesn't look like a writing company anymore. And as we perfected the work we were doing, I, add new services to the website, to the Sam's Word website. And I was like, this is getting confusing. People are not going to know what we do. So in February of 2021, so 2 years we've been here now. So February 2021, I launched 628 Digital Design, which is the full service digital content design and marketing agency, and kind of just folded in the writing services. So we provide full copywriting, technical business, creative writing services also, in addition to the marketing that we're doing, the social media, websites, public relations, and all of that. The inspiration behind the name 628, that was easy. That's my son's birthday, June 28th. So he's on the website. He has a whole page on the website. And initially I was he felt so proud knowing that he helped contribute to this new company that I formed. And so he was like, it's my company and I'm going to run it. And so he always felt like, this is his company because it's his birthday. But then in October of 2022, he launched Designs by Donnie, and he has his own business now. So he's not even worried about mine. We were talking last night about how he can grow his business and the different things he can do as his business continues to scale. And so that's it. That's the story of 628.
Wow, that's kind of a great story. And I love that Donnie is just carrying on. I'll do my own thing. Does he have people working for him yet?
Oh, well, besides me, who's building his website and managing his social media.
Yeah.
He that's his goal. He wants to hire people. He just did an event at the University of New Haven in West Haven, Connecticut, and his friend was there. So his best friend. So he asked his friend if he could help him. And so he was so excited because he's been asking for employees for a very long time. Oh. So he was very happy that he had someone there to help him set up his designs and things he was doing. And then, he's learning so much about business. So, out of your profit that you make, one of your expenses is salary. And so you hired somebody and now you have to pay that person. Yeah. So that comes out of your profit. So he liked it. He absolutely enjoyed it. So soon he will have more employees.
Very good. Well, I'm looking forward to following him on social media and see where his thing takes him.
He's on all socials, Designs by Donnie with a Y, Donny.
Very good, very good. So tell us, what's a unique or challenging kind of project that you've worked on that that really had maybe some challenges you had to overcome? Give us an example of something that you worked on.
Oh, I mean, in business, things always seem to pop up. One memorable one was a project we were on for a New York City agency. We were designing their annual report, and it seemed pretty straightforward. They started with 3 in their RFP, their request for proposals that they wanted designed, but they didn't have a budget for 3. So we settled on 1. And so that was like the first hurdle we had to overcome. And then our graphic designer wasn't as checked into the process as we had hoped. So it came to a point where, we kept saying, hey, are you working on this? How are you doing with this? And she'll give an update. And we took that at face value. Then it was time to present first draft of the annual report. And basically nothing was done.
Oh.
And this is after like 3 to 4 months of working on it with bi-weekly check-ins. And so we got to a point where we had to keep extending the deadline, which is not good for business, but we wanted to make sure we produced a high quality document.
Mhm.
And then in the meantime, we also had some team turnover. We had the writer on the project. That position turned over, I think, 2 times while we were on the project. So explaining to the client, oh, hey, this writer is no longer on the team. Here's your new writer. And then a few months later, hi again. Here's a newer writer for you. And then, trying to get those people up to speed on the project, because we still have deadlines that we need to meet, but they need to be, especially as a writer, they need to understand the scope and, what's needed of them.
Mhm.
So that was a particularly challenging project. We just had a recent one, wasn't as challenging as that one, but it was a local nonprofit religious organization that needed a website done. And their RFP basically said, we ain't got no money. So what can you do for some quarters and a banana? Because we ain't got no money.
Mhm.
And so coming up, that takes a particular different type of skill because we're used to, bells and whistles. We're full service. We do it all for your website. And they're like, yeah, but ain't no money here. So we end up doing a website template design. We included minimal integrations because they couldn't afford a lot, because that takes time and they just didn't have the money to pay for the time. And then we left them to do the copywriting piece of it. So our websites always come with copywriting, but they just couldn't afford it. But we did things like include their calendar of events coming up, their board of directors. We had things like that. So looking at, 2 different scopes, right? Especially when it comes to budget scope. The New York City agency is a much larger budget scope compared to this micro small business, which is a nonprofit religious organization that really didn't have a lot. But we're able to modify our services so that we can really help all of our clients who come to us based on their budgets.
Well, good. So you make it work. Negotiate's not the right word, but you make it work for them.
Yes.
Wherever they're at, and they understand what they're getting and what they're, how it all comes together, and everybody wins in the end. It's really
everybody wins. I have a client. We just finished her website. Matter of fact, she just an hour ago or less, we did a domain change on her website. But she came and talked to me last year. She wanted her website done.
Mhm.
And I gave her a price, and she understood that she did not have the budget at that time. But she came back to me this year and said, Sammy, I was so impressed by your level of professionalism and class and the way that you just managed that whole consultation, knowing I wasn't your customer at the time. She said, you wasn't rude. You wasn't belittling. You were just like, I understand your needs. I can't help you. And so she said, I love that you stuck to that. And she also, what she just told me the other day was she liked that I wasn't wavering. You know how some people are like, oh no, okay, you can't do it for this price. What about this? So I can do this, so I can do that. It was, okay, that's the price. You can't afford it. All right, I'm here. When you're ready, if you have the coins, I'm available for you.
Mhm.
And when she came back this year, she said, I was so impressed by your level of professionalism. I knew you would be doing my website, and now I'm back for you to do it.
There you go.
And so that, we're here to, and she went out and got a grant. So there's organizations that pay for creative services and digital marketing services for companies. And so she went out, got a grant. She knew what my price was, and she came back a year later, and we're done with her website now.
There you go. I mean, that's a perfect way to kind of put all the pieces together, whether it's your resources or somebody else's resources, and
absolutely
make it all work together. I think that's really important as any entrepreneur. You're not new anymore, but to say these are our standards. You want to work with us? Fine. If you don't, if there's something missing, we'll talk later. I think that's a great way to look at it, and shows that confidence and stick-to-itiveness, whatever the word is.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right, because when I started with Sam's Word back in 2015, everybody was my client, right?
Yeah.
It was You want something written, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. And, you know, resume prices were, I don't know, $40, $45 a resume. Those don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But I was actually in a group earlier this week where somebody was promoting $45 resumes. And I try to let them understand that you're undercutting all the other professionals in the industry.
Yeah.
Because if someone's charging $250 for a resume and you're charging $45, people are going to be like, well, I'm going to pay $250. But also, if they get prices and the standard is $250, $300, $400 for a resume, and you're at $45, now you're making your company look like it's less quality work.
That's right. Exactly.
Because, you know, there's people put value on that. So
That's
they're
right.
like, oh, it's only $45. I'd rather do this one that's $750
That's
because in their mind, they perceive it to be of greater value.
That's right.
$750 versus $45. So, you know, going through those stages of everybody's not my client, right? Qualifying the clients, understanding who you want to work with, how you want to work with your client will help you get into that mindset where you start to understand everybody's not my client. I'm here to serve who I serve. And there's plenty other marketing agencies, there's plenty other writers, graphic designers, and we're just not meant to be.
There you go. And that's the way to look at it. And the sooner you figure that out, the better, for sure.
Absolutely.
Have you gone too far with a client? And maybe did you ever have to fire a client?
Oh, yes.
And you say that with glee. I've done the same thing, frankly. But yeah, you're right. Exactly. Right.
When it's time, because you know it too. Like you start to see the little red flags and you try to be accommodating, you try to work it out. And I remember firing a client and I was just like, and it was a client that I had a business relationship with on the outside too. Oh. So it's like, we still need to work together, but this isn't going to work. So I'm gonna just like remove you from our systems. I'm going to delete our access. And then I'll see you at that meeting later tonight, right? Okay. Because we understand this is not going to work, but we still got to get along in other spaces. Mm-hmm. But it's so when clients start to get challenging, the first thing is, how can we fix this so that we can continue the relationship? Yeah. If it's just not going to work, then the first thing is, how do I fire this client? Because I see it like recruiting and hiring for my team, right? People say hire slow, fire fast.
Exactly.
Right. And if you know this client's relationship isn't working, it's so much better to just cut it off, because then what you don't want is them to start spewing negativity and have bad word of mouth because of their negative experience. That's right. Even though you're having a negative experience too, right? Customer is always right. So you want to leave it as amicable as possible and just go separate ways. That's
right. Exactly. Right. You'd say the customer's always right unless they're not. Unless they're not right.
That part.
That's exactly right. So tell me about. I mean, you do a great job, and you're really embedded's not the right word, but entrenched in the minority community in Connecticut. What other kinds of activities community-wise are you involved in?
Oh, I'm in a lot. I'm in just about every chamber. I just joined a new organization. I had it pulled up here so I didn't get the name wrong. The National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club, the New Haven Club. I actually received an award from them for business last year, and then they vetted me to become a member. So I'm a member of that organization. I'm a member of just about every chamber in the local area, but also I'm in the New York Women's Chamber of Commerce. I'm also a member of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of the U.S. Black Chamber. We have all of the alphabet soup. So through the U.S. Black Chamber, we are a certified Black-owned business. We're also a certified minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise, and also WASB, women-owned small business. So we're certified with WeBank. We're certified with the NMSDC, the National Minority Supplier Development Council. And so I live and breathe community and supporting Black businesses and minority business and women business. It's literally in everything that I do. I have a CV Oh, I just joined Forbes BLK, Forbes Black. So I got to add that to my CV. So my growing list of professional organizations that I'm in is expansive. It's just so much. There's the Black Directory, which is based out of, I want to say, the Virginia, DC, like the DMV area. So I'm also very heavily involved with them. And then through the work that I do with 628, with CMWP, we've now partnered with the University of New Haven. CMWP has partnerships with Quinnipiac University, Albertus Magnus College, and Goodwin University, where our members receive tuition discounts, and Quinnipiac University offers tuition discounts to our members and their families.
Oh, nice.
And now we're in the process of planning a STEM event in the spring to help get more Black girls and young adults, young women adults involved in the STEM fields. So we're working with the Department of Transportation. We were talking with a construction company, Demio, about getting more women in the trades and construction. So I breathe it. I'm just so like interconnected with everything when it comes to trying to empower and support the Black and minority community.
That's great. That's great. And you become a real mentor and role model to everybody that's all around.
Thank you. Actually, yes, I was mentioning this to you. I had 11 meetings today. Number 7 before this one was a mentorship call.
Good. So
that was with a woman who is a CMWP member, but she owns a virtual assistant business. And she needs assistance. She needs some mentoring to get her business up and running, to professionalize the brand. Yep. So we were talking about getting all of her business certifications and the process, and the all the systems she needs to go through in order to do that. And our next call, we'll be talking about defining her brand. And I gave her she has a couple of workbooks that she's working through. And she got to the brand identity workbook. And she's like, I think about brand and I'm thinking about my color scheme. Like, what color is my brand? But she's like, you have me going deep. Like, I said, yes, there's a whole brand philosophy. There's your culture. There's all of this that you have to really think about. When people think about your brand, they see your brand, they hear about your brand, what comes to mind? What
comes to their mind, exactly.
And so it's a whole thing. So we're going to dig deep into that. So
nice.
I didn't mention that. In addition to 628 and CMWP, my other business is Melanated Business Coaching. So I provide business coaching to Black women in business. So that's how I started working with her under that umbrella.
So you got, so let's see, I've lost track how many different things you've got going on at the same time, right? So go ahead, keep it. Now, the next really thing is just to keep your business going. I guess you've got stuff happening kind of continually. Do you expand? Expand's not the right word, but integrate, maybe is a better word, with the wider business community in Southern Connecticut or the rest of the East Coast? How does that work? What are the challenges or advantages in kind of moving around with other people?
So 628 is virtual, and we've been virtual since 2015. So since 2015, way before COVID, since 2015, the women on my team have been diverse and spread out throughout the country. So right now I have four part-time employees and 3 independent contractors, and they're all spread throughout the country. My creative operations manager, Alyssa, is actually she's being nomadic, I think is the right way to say it. So she is traveling through South America for the next 5 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it actually just scared the crap out of my IT guy, because she's in Cuba right now. And so I talked to her on Monday. She let me know where she was and what's happening. And then my IT guy texted me and said, is Alyssa in Cuba? And I was like, yes, how do you know that? And he's like, because I'm monitoring everything and I see IP addresses in Cuba, and apparently Cuba is like the #1 place for hackers and scammers. So he was ready to shut down all her systems, because he thought she'd been like, she's risking our systems. And I was like, oh, oops. So as she's traveling, we're, continuing to work. I've been talking to her all morning on Slack. And so our virtual remote model allows us, one, to hire the best talent because I'm not stifled by just my local geographic area. So she's originally based in Michigan. So she's in Michigan. I have a social media manager in California, another employee in Wisconsin. And so that allows us to expand what we're doing, but also helps to get the 628 name out there throughout the country. And then here locally, we work for all, we talked about the budget. So those who can afford us, we don't work for all people, but those who can afford us.
Right.
And so we have a lot of projects with the city of New Haven, with large nonprofits like the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven. We are rolling off a website job with it's a state funded job for the Connecticut Freedom Trail. The Connecticut Freedom Trail documents the slave travel, right? Where they traveled throughout Connecticut once they docked, and different monuments and places and homes and things like that. So that was a really great website that we worked on. And we're in the process of finishing that up. And so because of the versatility of the services that we offer, being full service, we're able to offer a comprehensive suite of digital content design, marketing services to various organizations and businesses.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. So you really have, even though you're entrenched in the minority community, but the services are for everybody.
Everybody's money is
limit who the customer is.
Oh no, everybody's money is green. We take it all.
That's right. That's right. As long as they have enough. As long
as they have enough. I will say though, becoming certified as a B Corp, there's a whole process where we are looking at our customers, and it's a percentage-based system, like a points-based system. So depending on the percentage of underrepresented businesses and people that you're serving, the higher points you can get. So the more, sorry, Howard, but basically anybody, or the only people we don't get credit for are white men. So if our customer is a woman, minority, Black, LGBTQ, they all go into that bucket to help us score higher. So looking at we just went through that process of looking at our customers and seeing exactly, and that's going line by line of every customer over the last 2 years. How do they rank? And then this is the score we now get based on their classification. So knowing that, right, it does turn on light bulbs to say, oh, but should we be focusing more on these underrepresented communities? If as a B Corp, we have a passion, but it's also legally built into my business structure that we provide. We're a socioeconomic business, right? We're for profit, but we have a socioeconomic lens where we want to do better for the environment, for people and things like that.
That's sort of like the Bombas socks.
Exactly.
Right? Same idea.
I just got an email from them today. Yes.
Oh, there you go. My wife's favorite socks. So, yeah.
I love Bombas.
And I always joke about, there's lots of organizations for minorities and women and all kinds of stuff. There's nothing for old Jewish white guys.
Because y'all own it all already, Howard.
I wish I owned a little bit more of it. But anyway, that was fun. So now tell me, Samantha, what other advice, you've done this for a couple of years, what kind of advice would you give to a budding entrepreneur who may be women, maybe a minority, maybe a white guy? It's all the same. The business is the same.
You know what I would say? One of the most important things that's often overlooked is community. So regardless of how you identify, you want to be in a community of people who have similar goals, who are maybe at the same place you are or more advanced, so that you can learn and grow with them also. But you want to be able to freely share your struggles and your wins, right? Because people will listen to your struggles all day long and then go talk about it, text about it. They love that. But once you start sharing your wins, you may start losing people because they may see it as bragging. Whereas you don't work like crazy to accomplish what you're accomplishing. And they just say, oh, look at her bragging about this again. Oh, she's doing this. And then, but when you're in the right crowd, those people are going to celebrate you and applaud you.
Exactly.
They're going to be like, yes, you did that, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to be able to pour into other people too. So you want people to pour into you. You never want to be the smartest person in the room at the table. I never, ever want that.
Yeah.
But you also want to be able to give back and pour into others, right? But it all starts with that community. Who's pouring into you? Who are you pouring into? And if you find yourself in a community that's no longer serving you, then it's fine to walk away, right? Because time is your most precious and valuable commodity. So you don't want to waste your time, effort, and energy with groups, communities that aren't giving you what you know you need for your business. The other thing I always talk about is professionalizing your brand. I think it was meeting number 3 this morning. I asked the woman for her email address and she gave it to me at gmail.com. And I said, you're in business. You should have a domain-based email. And she said, oh, I do have one of those. So why are you not using it? Right. And she had just finished a very popular entrepreneurial training program here. And I said to her, this is why every program is not created equal. CMWP has our own entrepreneurial training programs, a whole curriculum base. We have programs specific to Black mompreneurs. But I told her, this is why they're not created equal, because there's no way you're going to finish a CMWP training program and continue using it at gmail.com email address. And she's a Hispanic woman. She's from Puerto Rico. And she was telling me about the challenges she has. She's like first generation from Puerto Rico. And what people don't understand is women, minority women, Black women, we're already being judged, right? My mother always says, don't give them nothing to use against you. And so if they automatically discredit you just by showing up Black, just by showing up a woman, and then you show up with at gmail.com, it's going to prove to them that they're right. Like, see, she wasn't really a professional at Gmail. Who does that, right? So you want to make sure that you're always showing up professional. I told her, if you email me for the first time, or somebody makes an email introduction, and that's what I see at gmail.com, I can already have preconceived thoughts about your level of professionalism in business and how serious you take it. And you don't want that. You want to show up as professional as possible on every platform.
Absolutely. So let's kind of wrap up a little bit. Of all the years that you've been at this, helping people out, doing all kinds of stuff, organizations, trainings, mentoring, to get where you are, and certainly, where is 628 Digital going in the future?
So we just crafted a vision statement. We're refining it. And what we really want to be is a disruptive model in the creative marketing, digital content design space, an industry leader. And we want to be known for that. There are very few Black women-owned marketing agencies, and we want to be top of the list when you're saying, I want to work with the marketing agency, a Black woman-owned agency, with our team of Black women creatives. So that's where we're going. I want to be an employer of choice. I want to offer competitive salaries and benefits. I'm already looking into, because everybody's part-time right now. So growing our team and just continue to expand as I keep working towards the B Corp. As a B Corp, beefing up our social impact and really understanding our footprint and how we can have a better positive impact globally.
Terrific. This has really been awesome, Samantha. I really appreciate coming on to the show. And I certainly learned a lot. I'm certainly inspired by all the things that you're doing. I think I got to work a little harder. I'm not sure what I should do here. So everybody who's out there, if there's anybody who is a harder worker than Samantha, I don't know who could possibly be doing that. So just so you remember.
I want to meet them though. I want to meet you.
Exactly.
You are.
You know what I mean? So whether it's your family, your company, your organization, your community organization, remember, it's money that make those gears keep turning. Make sure your money is working the most optimal way it can
Yes.
Thanks for being here, Samantha.
Thanks for having me. This is really great. I appreciate this.
Good.